A little teaser for my story, The Roll of the Dice, which appears in Graveyard Smash, Volume 2 from Candisha Press. I was chosen, but I didn't have a choice. There was a strange irony to that. From an early age, I lived my life between two planes. I learned that my normality was alien to others, because to me being different was something I carried with me from the womb. My family called me a miracle, a much longed for child of a woman who had been told she would never have children. They had given up on their dream of ever holding their own flesh and blood in their arms until I arrived at the height of the worst winter storm in decades. I don't remember when I saw him for the first time, but I don't ever have a memory of him not being there, watching me from a distance. He was, for most parts, an unassuming man, average height, average build, with silver grey hair and pale eyes as clear as water, except that his facial features were blank from the nose down. My nursery school drawings were of stick figures with long hair and no mouth. My parents and teachers all tried to correct me, but if they ever penciled a smiley curve there, I found a way to spoil the picture or threw a tantrum, unable to grasp their reasoning. My acceptance of him became a part of everyday life, as natural to me as breathing or sleeping. I chattered away as I played, even making sure an extra place was set at the dinner table. He was the last person I said goodnight to, and the first I whispered a sleepy hello to as morning came. The lines between what was and what I could see became blurred. My parents smiled and indulged their child his imaginary friend, if only they knew the truth. I came to understand from a simple nod of his head or a gesture of his hand if he was pleased with me or not. The one thing I learned from a very young age is that I could never close my eyes and pretend he wasn't there. Acknowledgement of his presence became the cornerstone of my life. As I grew, I began to accept that I was unique. I had a presence in my life that no one else could see. I learned never to mention him to anyone for fear of rebuke or scorn. All I knew was that he was as real to me as anyone made of flesh and blood. The few friends I had drifted away as I edged towards my second decade. Kids know when someone else is different, and they shy away from any such soul for fear that the disease is catching. It was the summer of my 17th year when I saw him standing on the other side of the busy street. People rushed past, oblivious to his presence. The July heat shimmered from the pavement in waves, shimmered through him. He beckoned to me with his hand, and I remember wondering why he was the only person on the south side of the street not bathed in sunlight. Then I walked out in front of the truck that killed me.